Wishing you a very good day. This is your teacher Asima Khanam and I welcome you all to this session. Children, we all face challenges and problems in our life. And when we face challenges, please do not think that challenges are there to destroy you. No, not at all. Challenges are there to make you perfect. Challenges are there to strengthen you, to increase your capabilities. And nature, we all know, nature has its own ways of treating us. Sometimes it acts and behaves like a friend who stands by us during our good and bad times. Sometimes it behaves like a mother who lulls us to sleep with its soothing swing. And sometimes nature wreaks havoc. There are calamities, earthquakes, cyclones and whatnot. It acts and behaves like a fierce enemy and tries to break down us. What happens afterwards? We emerge more strong. We make our hearts more stronger. We make our houses even better and more strong in order to face the adversities of the life. And this is what exactly the poem Wind is going to teach all of us, right? It sounds an interesting theme for a poem like that, isn't it? So children, before I get started and start analyzing what the poem is all about, I would like to give you a brief introduction about the poem. Swami Subramania Bharati, born in 1882 in Tamil Nadu. Not only a poet, children, but a social activist, Indian reformer, a playwright and whatnot. He has written many books with regard to the nationalism and patriotism. So, and for that particular movement, Swami Subramania Bharati is renowned writers of the world. He is also known as Mahakavi or Bharatiyar, known by these two names. I'll repeat again, Bharatiyar and Mahakavi. So Chinnaswamy Bharatiya Iyer is also known as Mahakavi. Mahakavi, children, it means one who is a prolific writer, a renowned writer throughout the world, and who has already taken into consideration the beautiful things related to the country, the culture, but all in Tamil. Alright, and then later his poems or whatever work he had done were translated into English by A.K. Ramanujan. And this poem, Wind, is also translated by A.K. Ramanujan in English. So children, let's recite the poem first. Wind, come softly, do not break the shutters of the windows, do not scatter the paper. Do not throw the books on the shelf. There, look what you did. You threw them all down. You tore the pages of the books. You brought the rain again. So children, before we start discussing these very important and the opening lines of the poem, I would like to discuss a few things with you first. Wind. The wind is actually symbolic to the adversities and the problems we all face in life. Life is never perfect. We all face problems, challenges in our life. But what makes us strong is when we face those challenges, when we experience those challenges, right? So Wind, the title is very, very appropriate. And why it is appropriate? Because the wind is actually the symbolic to the problems and the adversities we all face in life. That means the destructive power and the powerful nature of the wind has been compared with the problems and the adversities that we all face in our life. And then the poet has personified wind. The poet is talking to the wind. If you can just have a look at the opening lines of the poem, it is wind, come softly. It means the poet is actually talking to the wind, right? And the wind has been taken as a human being or we can say a living creature. And that is what exactly the personification is, when we give that human attributes, human traits to inanimate, right? So here the wind is inanimate, natural phenomena, and the poet is talking to the wind. Okay, talking to the wind as a living creature, talking to the wind as a human being, and asking it in a requesting tone, in a pleading tone, that wind, come softly. Do not come in a harsh tone. Do not come, with all the power, with all the signs of destruction. Why? See, then it says, wind, come softly, do not break the shutters of the window, do not scatter the papers, do not throw the books on the shelf. That means all these lines of the poem, they actually explain the destructive nature of the wind, right? So what it can do, it can break the shutters of the window, it can scatter the papers, and it can even throw the books that are there on the shelf, it can throw them down. So actually the poet asks the wind to come softly, without making any destruction, without causing any destruction. There, what you did. And then it says, see what you have done. You threw all them down. You threw all the books down. You tore the pages of the books and you brought rain again. So the poet is actually talking about the consequences, which we all face after a strong wind blows. So what it does is tears the pages, it throws the books on the shelf, and we face all the destruction, and we have to definitely then look what we as human beings are we going to really withstand with the problems and the challenges that we face in life. Let's have a look in the stanza 2 what the poet is then trying to tell us. You are very clever at poking fun at weaklings, frail, crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. Children, very, very important. The poet says that you are very clever. Now, because wind is actually taken as a human being here, a living creature here, and poet is talking to the wind. So it says that you are very clever at making fun at the weaklings. What are weaklings? Weaklings are weak people. Weaklings are those people who are not at all strong when it comes to their willpower and determination, who are not strong when it comes to their physical appearance, when it comes to their mental mindset, or the psyche, we can say. So poet says you are very clever at making fun of those people who are weak. So children, it's not just people, it can be any living thing, it can be a small shrub, it can be tall trees. Though tall trees may seem very, very strong, but at the same time it's all about being strong. So the poet actually discusses and explains the power and the majestic destruction caused by the wind, and it says that you are very clever, you know how to make fun of those people who are very weak, who cannot withstand your force. So children, I hope I made myself clear, when we took into consideration the word weakling and the clever. So you have to really take into consideration why poet has used the word clever when it comes to wind. Because wind knows that I am really not going to, hamper or make difficulties or create difficulties for those people who are very strong in their willpower and determination. So those people who are weak, who are timid, wind knows that I am going to make a difference in their lives, right? I am going to have a huge impact, not only in their life, but in their mindset as well. So children, it's very, very important. Now, weaklings, I will repeat it again, weak people who are weak in their willpower and determination, right? So this is why the poet has used the term clever and the weaklings. All right children, so that is why the clever and the weakling has been used in this very verse of the poem. And then poet says crumbling houses. You can see here the word crumbling has been used 7 times in the poem. It has been repeated. Why it has been repeated, children? In order to lay emphasis on the destructive power of the wind. So the poet states that you crumble houses, you crumble doors, you crumble rafters. What are rafters even? Rafters are the supporting, we can say rods that actually support the roof of the house. We can call it as beam in simple language, a kind of beam which supports the rooftop of our houses. So the poet says that the wind, it is such a huge, majestic, destructive power that it takes toll of everything. Houses, doors, rafters, wood, bodies, even leaves and even hearts. So that is why those people who are weak in their, mind, heart, determination, wind destroys them. It crumbles them, it crushes them like a weak building, because a weak building has a weak foundation, it has a weak base. And when you have a weak base, you have a weak foundation, you cannot withstand the ravage of the wind. You cannot withstand the ravage of the time, because wind associates time with it. Because we are actually discussing the problems and the adversities we all face in our life. We are actually discussing the challenges we face in our life. And that is why it says that I make fun at weaklings. I poke them, I mock them. Why? Because they are not able to withstand me. They are not able to tackle and face the challenge in life. And then the poet says, the wind god winnows and crushes them all. So here it's very, very important. The poet has actually addressed the wind as God, supreme, with all the power. And it says that it crushes them all. Because children, when we address or refer something to as God, it means it is already supreme in itself. You cannot deny the fact that the poet has addressed the wind as God and then says, the wind god winnows and crushes them all. The wind god crushes who? It crushes those people who are weak in their determination. It crushes who are weak when it comes to their heart, when it comes to their mind, who are not at all able to withstand the problems or face the adversities in their life. So the poet says that wind god. Now the poet has addressed the wind as God and says it winnows them. What is winnowing actually? Winnowing is a process where we separate the grains, wheat grains from the chaff, right? So the poet has actually compared the human beings, those people who are weak, like wheat, and it says it winnows them. It separates the weak people with that of the strong people, and those who are weak, the wind god crushes them. It breaks them, right? Like a weak building falls down, and same happens to those people who are weak, and then the wind god, being supreme, majestic, great in all the power, it breaks them, it crushes them. And he won't do what you tell him, because he is God. He is not going to listen to you at all. And what you need to do is, you need to be prepared yourself to face the challenges and the adversities in your life. Because wind has been addressed here as a God, and you cannot tell or instruct God what to do, right? And then you have to be prepared. You have to really understand what to do in life, how to face problems in life, how to tackle challenges in life. So, come, let's build strong homes. Now then the poet says, it's very important that we must be prepared to face challenges in life. And what we need to do is, we need to prepare our homes in a strong manner. We need to create a strong base. We need to prepare strong homes, so that wind cannot enter inside our houses, which means problems cannot affect us, right? Let's join the doors firmly. Let us join the doors strongly. Practice to firm the body. Not only it's like having strong homes or strong mindset, but at the same time we should be physically prepared also. We should prepare our body in such a way that wherein our body becomes tough. strong in order to face the challenges of the life, right? So that is why the poet says, practice to firm the body. Firm means to strengthen our body, to make our body more stronger, and make heart steadfast, and make our heart strong, firm, wherein we can experience and face the challenges that life throws at us. And then do this, and then the wind will be friends with us. It means when we will prepare our body and mind to face the adversities, the destruction, which is actually the symbolic to the problems and the challenges we face in life. So when we will practice ourselves, we make our body stronger, even our mind prepared to face the challenges in our life, what will ultimately happen? We will be friends with the wind. So we won't ever feel that why I am being tested. So it's like the friendship with the wind will be okay with us, because that particular thing, when we'll face challenges or the problems in our life, it will give us a huge experience, and then it's going to be a cakewalk for all of us. So we will be more experienced, we will come out as better individuals, experienced individuals, and strong individuals, children. The wind blows out weak fires. Very, very important, children. The wind blows out weak fires. Even weak fires, weak people, wind blows them out, right? So they are extinguished. Weak fires are extinguished, right? And the strong fires, they roar, they grow and flourish. The strong fires, they grow more strong and they flourish. They grow with the passage of the time, because it is about their mindset. It is about their hearts. We can easily, understand it by, I'll give you an example. If you have a candle in front of you, a candle has a flame. A flame is not that strong, right? It's a small flame. A single blow of a strong wind can easily extinguish it. But when we talk about a fire, when we talk about fires, a strong blow can even make it more stronger. That is what the poet is, trying to make all of us understand, that weak fires will be blown out. They will be extinguished by a strong blow of the wind. And what will happen to the strong fires? They will roar, they will flourish, they will grow and develop, right? So his friendship is good. Now you can see here the poet has used the word he makes, his friendship is good. So it is another case of personification, where the poet has actually personified the wind. We praise him every day. So the poet says his friendship is good. Why its friendship is good? Because it makes us learn to become strong human beings, right? And we praise him every day because it's a God, right? So we praise him every day for what? For making us strong and better individuals. Now children, this was all about the poem. I would like to discuss one important thing. The poem Wind is a didactic poem. Now what is a didactic poem? A didactic poem is a poem which is instructional or informative. It provides us an information with regard to some truth, moral value, or exactly it teaches us a lesson. So this poem, very simple and very short, it taught us a very beautiful message that we ought to be strong in our willpower and determination. We ought to be strong physically, mentally, in order to face adversities and problems in our life, right? Now let's have a look at the poetic devices. So children, the first poetic device used in the poem is anaphora. Now what is anaphora? When a particular word is repeated in the beginning of the two consecutive or more than two lines of the poem. You can see here, don't. The word don't has been repeated in the second, third and fourth line of the poem. So this is a technique of anaphora. And another instance in the poem is, you tore the pages of the books, you brought the rain. That is one more example of the anaphora. Even you are very clever, right? So this is anaphora. Now another device which has been used in the poem, as I said, is personification. The wind has been personified as a living creature. The poet is actually talking to the wind, and requesting it not to bring in that kind of destruction, right? So the wind has been personified throughout the poem, and the instances are very, very clear. Wind comes softly, right? The poet is talking to the wind. Then we have he, right? He makes strong fires, right? So this is another example of the personification. Then another example is symbolism. Now, what is symbolism, children? Symbolism is the use of symbols in order to depict hidden meaning. What is the hidden meaning or the underlying meaning in the poem? As I said earlier, the adversities, the problems of our life, they are quite symbolic to the destructive nature of the wind, right? The destructive power of the wind. They have given that comparison wherein our problems and adversities of of our life, they are being compared to the destructive power of the wind. Then another poetic device is alliteration. Alliteration, you all know, children, very simple and commonly used poetic device. It is the repetition of consonant sounds in close connection, right? Let's have a look at the examples of the alliteration. We have wind winnows, right? So the W consonant sound W is repeated, right? So this is the example of alliteration. And the device we have is repetition. The word crumbling, as I discussed earlier, the word crumbling has been repeated in order to lay emphasis or make a point. The poet has repeated the word crumbling 7 times in order to lay stress on the destructive nature of the wind. Then a very new device, which is apostrophe. Apostrophe has also been used in the poem. Apostrophe is a technique wherein the poet refers to the absent audience, right? So we are not actually present in the poem as readers, but the poet advises us. What he advises us? He advises us to be strong mentally as well as physically in order to face the challenges and the problems of our life. Why? Because when we face challenges and problems in our life, we emerge as more strong and better individuals. So children, I hope I made myself clear. Looking forward to see you in the coming videos. Thank you so much. God bless.